and just tout your candidate, whether Tallarico or Crockett, and move on. But the attacks are stupid because it could backfire.
Yeah, they could backfire. But Roland, this is the fear of highly intelligent, highly accomplished Black women. We saw this with Kamala Harris, the fear of Kamala Harris. We talked about a number of times on this show, hit pieces from the Washington Post, hit segments from MSNBC attacking Kamala Harris. I'm talking about long before she jumped into the 2024 presidential race. We see these attacks trying to undermine Jasmine Crockett. We see John Cornyn, who fears running against Jasmine Crockett. She has higher name ID than him, so he wants to run against Tallarico. So he's trying to pump him up, just like you said. And I have to ask these white progressives, if that's the label that you want to call yourself, what the hell are you progressing towards? Because you make no sense whatsoever. We have to really ask, what are you progressing towards? But this is more of the search for the great white hope. That's what this is.
And here's my argument, and it's real simple. If he beats you in the primary, he goes to the general. That's the whole point.
Right.
But to say that somehow the white guy, we got to have the white guy to run to win, that's so stupid. It's been quite hilarious and shameful to watch these attacks on Congresswoman Crockett about a U.S. Senate race in Texas. Yet when you look at where the attacks on her are coming from, it's amazing how they keep emanating out of Washington, D.C. and New York City. It's quite interesting. And it's quite interesting to watch how so many white progressives are literally on record as saying that, oh, no, we can't support this Black woman running for United States Senate because in order for us to win, we're going to have to run a white male moderate. And I find that to be interesting. And when I would say this right now to many of those white progressives, let me be clear. You're playing a very dangerous game. See, if you're making the argument that Crockett doesn't have the policies, that's one thing. For you to literally suggest that, she's too Black, you might want to watch that. And the reason this is interesting is because I saw a lot of this after she announced she was running. And there was somebody who was on Threads, and they were going on and on and on. And you can always tell the people who don't know a damn thing, who literally don't know jack about the state of Texas. And so I'm sitting here, and so this one person was going on and on and on. And I decided to just sit here and do a look back. And I began to go back and look at all of these races. And I took it all the way back, y'all, to 1988. And you know what's interesting? I saw, and it was just amazing to me. Matter of fact, let me just see if this is going to show up. If this is going to properly show up on the screen. It may not show up. But this is what I pulled together. I'm just going to read it. I say, for all of you who believe that a Black woman cannot run for U.S. Senate in Texas, and it should be a white or Latino candidate, matter of fact, hold up. I can do this here. Give me 1 second. So I'm going to download this chart, and then I just want to show y'all. And see, this is what happens when you got a brain and you know how to research and you don't fall for the okie doke, because what it then happens is you are smart enough to understand what's going on. And so I went back and I said, let me find all of the people who ran in Texas. Now, Lloyd Bentsen this is 1988. Lloyd Benson, Henry, you can go to my iPad. This is from Bloomberg. This is all Texas U.S. Senate races from 1988 to 2018. And so you see here in 1988, Senator Lloyd Benson was the last Democrat to win a U.S. Senate race. Senator Lloyd Benson, that same year, he was the vice presidential candidate. He wins 59-40. But you go to 1990, Democrat Hugh Palmer, white, male, runs against Republican Senator Phil Gramm, loses 60-37. We go to 1993. Bob Kruger had been appointed to the seat. He runs against Kay Bailey Hutchison. Bob Kruger, white, male, loses 67-33. Go to 1994, Richard Fisher, very rich white man, runs against Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison, gets his ass whooped 61-38. In 1996, Victor Morales decides to run, Latino, against Phil Gramm, loses 55-44. In 2000, white man, Gene Kelly, runs against Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison, Republican, loses 65-32. 2002, former Dallas Mayor Ron Kirk, black male, runs against Senator John Cornyn, loses 55-43. 2006, Barbara Ann Radnofsky, white woman, runs against Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison, loses 62-36. 2008, Rick Noriega, Latino, loses to Senator John Cornyn, 55-43. 2012, Ted Cruz, Paul Sadler, white man, loses to Ted Cruz, 56-41%. 2014, David Alamil. Y'all, I literally do not know who the hell that is. And I am from Texas. I don't even remember this race. It's all good. Lebanese, he loses 62-34. 2018, Beto O'Rourke, white man, loses to Senator Ted Cruz, 51-48. Then, of course, you had the race last year, the race of former congressman, then congressman, out of Texas, out of Dallas area, ran against Ted Cruz. He lost by 10 points. Okay, Colin Allred. If I think back to the 2020 U.S. Senate race, let me see, that was John Cornyn. 2020 Texas U.S. Senate race. Let's see here. Race. Cornyn wins. Let me see. Who did he beat? Let's see. Oh, he beat M.J. Hager. Democrat who was in the Texas legislature. White woman. He beat her by 8 points. Why? So let's see. So since 1988, we've seen white male Democrats lose by massive margins. We have seen, matter of fact, if we just look at this here, my God, the closest race, Victor Morales, Latino, 11 points. Ron Kirk was 12 points. Rick Noriega was 12 points. Let's see here. Beto O'Rourke was 2.5 points. And then Colin Allred was 10 points. Okay. So actually, if you look at the results, outside of Beto O'Rourke, white men have gotten crushed by Republicans. I'm just looking at the data. White women crushed. So I'm confused. Tellerico is Latino. So this notion that, oh my God, Crockett has no chance. Back to my, so can y'all somehow show me how the data suggests, based upon the history since 1988, that there is a perfect candidate who somehow can win? No. In fact, if I actually look at the numbers, it was a white woman who lost by 8 points to Cornyn in 2020. It was Beto lost by 2.5 points. Kamala lost by 10 points. So actually the people who got closest, you got Beto, a white male, you got Allred and a white woman. So explain to me again why somehow a very popular, highly rated black woman just has no shot. So y'all just got to understand what these people are placing. And so when you begin to see these white progressives on social media put these things out there, you now got to ask, who's driving this? Where is it coming from? Why are these people in D.C., New York so afraid of Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett? Anybody ever thought about that? See, so Matt, I spend a lot of time when I'm seeing various comments. In fact, there was some guys, y'all may have seen this on the Young Turks. One guy who was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a white guy, and you know, I'm gonna support the white candidate." Okay, so just show me how that's worked since 1988.
Well, first, I chuckled when you mentioned about Alamil, because my thought was literally exactly the same. I was like, who is that? I don't remember that person at all. And I voted in most of those elections. But I think, you know, this speaks to really a larger issue. And I think your point is very well made about what hasn't worked phenotypically, i.e. white men and white women. But the bigger issue is that in Texas, people just believe that Texas is always going to go red. There's just this belief here that Democrats are not going to be able to make any inroads. And what happens every year, you know, rinse and repeat, every time a cycle comes up, is people get excited about a candidate and they think they're the heir apparent. And then they start to concede, oh, well, it's going to be hard out in West Texas. It's going to be hard out here. Texas doesn't vote Democrats statewide. And then the party, one, pulls up lame, and two, defaults, to your point, to whomever they think is going to get crossover vote. But here's the thing. I mean, James Tallarico, I think, is actually a very, very good candidate. I have nothing bad to say about Tallarico. I like him. But I don't think that has worked, right? Like the idea that a Beto or James Tallarico is going to be the panacea to bring over people from the Republican Party is just not going to work. What's going to have to work, which you've said on this show and which my father tells me every time we talk politics, shout out to my pops, is more people have to actually go vote. In Texas, if people came out and voted, it would be a blue state. I think that's what the numbers very clearly show. But the Texas Democratic Party always does this, always pulls up lame, and it always feels it has to default toward whomever they think is the prototype. And hopefully this is the race where they don't do that. But I do think the bigger thing is they're just going to have to energize people to vote, because whether it's Congresswoman Crockett or Tallarico, neither of them is going to get across the finish line if Texas Democrats concede defeat before the fight actually comes. And that's just what we see every cycle, every time. It's always this concession. Oh, we're not going to win statewide, no matter how energized we are with the party. And clearly, in 2018, we came very close. I mean, that was a 3 percentage point race. I didn't even remember that it was that close. So there's obviously a possibility to get there, but I think we shoot ourselves in the foot before we start the race. Yeah,
and it's just nonsensical to me for them that the argument, Candace, is that, oh my God, that first of all, it's a nonsensical argument to say, oh my God, there's no way we can run a black progressive woman and win when you ain't won since 1988. So let's just go there. Two, it's also dumb because these people act like, and I'm just going to be very clear, if the incumbent John Cornyn loses to that nutcase, corrupt Attorney General Ken Paxton, it still ain't going to be a cakewalk for Democrats. This idea is that, oh my God, she's destroying our chances to win Texas. That is literally stupid. It's just stupid. Republicans are going to vote. Ken Paxton is a corrupt attorney general who should have been impeached, but Republicans got bought off by billionaires in Texas, and the man beat impeachment. So ain't no cakewalk to running. And here's the other thing, Candace. In my research, they were all mad at Jasmine Crockett for jumping in the race. I could not find a single time since 1988 where a Democrat ran in the primary unopposed. So guess what? Tallarico's name ID is lower than Crockett's. So fact is, you actually need Crockett and Tallarico running against each other in the primary, so they're campaigning across the state, so their name ID increases after the March 3rd primary, leading to the general. You don't want them running unopposed. That's just how stupid these people are.
And, you know, the truth is, when we talk about strategy, in terms of her even being in the race and what people know about her, you have to, the fact that we are talking about her and that everyone else is too, means that somebody is scared, right? That's what we know for sure. But strategically, she does have to be in the race, like you said, for the name recognition, especially when we talk about the primaries. Besides that, though, if nobody was talking about her, if they thought she was going to lose, that would be a problem, too. I mean, the fact that they're talking to her about any disruption is a problem in and of itself, because why is there such a problem with her running? I mean, period, at all. There should, you know, everybody has the right to run. She followed all the rules. What is the issue? I think that all of the talk about her means that a lot of people are wondering, is this woman really going to win? And I think that she is. I mean, like you said, it's not going to be a cakewalk,
right? But
it is something that people are paying attention to. Why? Because she is a threat. If no one was saying her name on any given Monday through Sunday, that would also be a problem. So I think that it's better that we are in this position right now and talking about her, even in this particular context.
Michael, Senator John Cornyn made this comment here. You're going to love this here. I think Tallarico is dangerous. He'll probably beat Jasmine Crockett, and he's capable of raising a lot of money. And if you look at the head-to-head with Paxton, it's tied. Actually, the head-to-head with Paxton, actually, I think it's tied with Crockett. But here's what's so crazy here. This is called rope-a-dope. This is called the rope-a-dope method. Okay, so let's pump up Tallarico, because the data actually shows she's stronger than him. But here's the thing: it doesn't matter. Here's what Democrats in Texas are going to understand, and why progressives are going to shut up. Here's what you need: you're going to need a massive turnout in Texas for Tallarico or Crockett to win. And so, white progressives, the one thing you don't want to do is shit on the black woman, because black people are the largest. Black voters in Texas are the largest group of black voters in the country. So you're going to need massive black turnout in Harris County, in Dallas County, and others. So I'm just saying they may want to pump their brakes and just tout your candidate, whether Tallarico or Crockett, and move on. But the attacks are stupid because it could backfire.
Yeah, they could backfire. But Roland, this is the fear of highly intelligent, highly accomplished Black women. We saw this with Kamala Harris, the fear of Kamala Harris. We talked about a number of times on this show, hit pieces from the Washington Post, hit segments from MSNBC attacking Kamala Harris. I'm talking about long before she jumped into the 2024 presidential race. We see these attacks trying to undermine Jasmine Crockett. We see John Cornyn, who fears running against Jasmine Crockett. She has higher name ID than him, so he wants to run against Tallarico. So he's trying to pump him up, just like you said. And I have to ask these white progressives, if that's the label that you want to call yourself, what the hell are you progressing towards? Because you make no sense whatsoever. We have to really ask, what are you progressing towards? But this is more of the search for the great white hope. That's what this is.
And here's and it's real simple. If he beats you in the primary, he goes to the general. That's the whole point.
Right.
But to say that somehow the white guy, we got to have the white guy to run and win, that's so stupid. I got to
visit my website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can register for this new 10-week online course. So we're going to teach this on Sundays, normally 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're running late today. So as soon as I finish this broadcast, I was going to start the class about 5:30 p.m. today. Because it's a holiday weekend, I'm going to do a quick introduction to the class so you could join us for that. Class is on sale, $80. You get 5 of my lectures free in digital download format, okay, when you register for this as well. Click right here, register here. You can do debit card, credit card, what have you. If you want to do it through Cash App, send it through our Cash App is here, $ the AHN show through Cash App. You click on the link. It takes you here. And if you send it through Cash App, follow it up with an email. You can email me through the website right here. Contact the African History Network at the top. If you send it through Cash App, follow up with an email. Let me know you sent the registration through Cash App. And this is our official Cash App account, $ the AHN show, SHOW. When you go to it, it'll say Michael. These are some fake African History Network Cash App accounts. They've been stealing money from us. I'm still trying to get them shut down. Here's our PayPal link right here. Also, okay. So this is African empires, the Moors, and the transatlantic slave trade, 5000 BC to 1800 AD. Okay. So this is a new 10-week online course that I'm teaching. I've been teaching online history classes going back to 2017. And, I put these classes together, put together the curriculum. There are about 200 slides in this class, 80 to 100 articles that we reference, 15 books. You don't have to buy any of the books. I'll show you screenshots of the book as well. The content is PG-13. You can use this with your children, okay? And it's very engaging. It is interactive also. There's a class chat, so you can ask me questions in the class also. You can see